We've all had an idea for our next million-dollar product, and chances are some of us have even tried to launch it. But statistically speaking, 90% of startups fail, so more than likely yours ended up in the same boat. Now, if you ask any successful startup founder, they're gonna tell you that these failures are not failures. In fact, they are just lessons which needed to be learned in order to eventually go on to build something more successful. See, a successful startup founder is not just a lucky person most of the time. Instead, they are someone who started a business, failed, started another business, failed again, repeat, until eventually one of them worked out. And so all of these failures were essential to eventually starting the successful business. Now that all sounds well and good, but there is one crucial aspect that makes these repeated failures really difficult for most people, and that is money. If you're a new startup founder, you probably don't have unlimited resources to just be pouring into new businesses, which are 90% likely going to fail. At least that's what you may think. I believe that anyone, no matter how much money they have, can start and fail businesses over and over again until success. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you how you could do the exact same thing. We've all heard the saying, you gotta spend money to make money, and that is definitely true. But the question is, how much money do you really need to spend in order to make money? And what we're gonna talk about is how you can spend the least amount possible to give your startup idea a good run for its money before it either becomes successful or you decide to scrap it and start a new one. So the first thing that you need to keep in mind is don't over-engineer your product. You may have had an amazing idea for some unicorn product, say an all-in-one email tool for SaaS businesses. And while that may be an awesome idea, don't build it, at least not yet. Along with money, building a product takes time. And besides money, something that is so important to you as a startup founder is your time. You do not want to waste time building a product that people might not even want. Your goal is to find product market fit for as little money as humanly possible. So, how can you find product market fit on the cheap? Again, let's say your idea is to build an all-in-one tool for SaaS founders to send emails. Like I said, don't start building that yet. Instead, here are two different approaches that you can take to start that amazing idea without losing a whole bunch of time and money. Starting with something that we say all the time here at MemberStack, which is simple first, powerful later. Maybe you want to build this unicorn product, but you don't need to necessarily start with it. Instead, find one simple pain point that the competitors aren't doing a good job at yet, and build that as your tool. Along with that, you can add all sorts of coming soon flags into your app for new features that you have the idea to build, but just don't actually try to build them all yet. Just show that they're coming soon so that people can get some value from your product while also seeing the vision that you have. There are tons of unicorn companies that have built their insane products starting with just something extremely simple. And you might know some of them, such as Slack. Slack was originally building a tool for their internal communications at their video game company, but eventually they realized that Slack itself, the internal communication tool, is more useful for the market. Next, we have Twitter, a company which is now making AI and all sorts of crazy things. They started out as a simple app where you could text updates to your friends. We also have Zoom. Zoom has a whole bunch of features today, but when Zoom started out, it was just a very simple but reliable tool for two-way video communication. Notion was originally just a simple notes-taking app. Now they have everything. Airtable was just a simple spreadsheet tool. Canva was the most basic design tool when it started. Discord was simply a voice chat tool for gamers. And on the topic of our video, MailChimp was a dead simple email tool for businesses before it eventually turned into the crazy company that it is today. So what's my point here? It's that you can still build that vision and that dream of this massive company. You just don't need to start there. Start with the most simple thing you possibly can, find that product market fit, and then eventually add in more and more and more. But for some ideas, that's not really going to work. Sometimes the entire point of your business is to be this giant, complex tool. So if that's the case, how do you find the product market fit if you don't want to waste time on actually building something that people might not want? And for that, what I have to say to you is fake it till you make it. Now, I don't mean lying to people or anything like that. What I mean is build a simple landing page that explains your vision and your product and what it's going to be. even though you don't even have a real product yet. Simply use that page to sell people on the vision and collect email signups for people who are interested in such a product if it were to come out. This isn't just something that I thought of off of the top of my head. There are a ton of successful businesses that initially started using this exact tactic, and you may know some of them, such as Dropbox. At the start, Dropbox was just a video of them showing what their idea is for file syncing, and eventually people showed interest and they decided to build the real thing. Buffer, the social media scheduling giant, was initially just a homepage showing the ideas and a pricing page showing what it's going to cost. People left their emails, and immediately the founder of Buffer could see that people actually want this and are willing to pay exactly that much for it. Robinhood as well. Robinhood is an awesome one here. It is a giant investment platform today. They started out with a simple landing page where not only could you leave your email, but you could also refer friends for future benefits. And I actually know the tool that Robinhood used to do that. It's called Viral Loops. No affiliation to them. Link is in the description. If you use Viral Loops, you can also boost your email signups that way. Zapier was originally just a landing page talking about their concept for this simple automation tool. And through email signups, they could see that people were interested and they decided to build it, along with some information that they had on their first few automations. So the point here is, don't over-engineer your product. Either one, build something simple and see if people like it, or two, sell the vision and see if people sign up with their emails. So that's the building side of things out of the way to make sure you don't over-engineer. That being said, how do you actually find these initial customers? You know, a lot of people, including yourself, might think that the only way to find these initial customers is through expensive, paid options like Google ads, Meta ads, YouTube ads, and so on. But that's not true. The internet is full of customers and you just need to find them. But as a broke startup founder, you need to find them for cheap. Now, the thing is, the internet isn't very fond of people who just shamelessly market themselves, and you have to be aware of that. If you try, for example, to go and promote your product in a Reddit thread, well, you are going to get banned before you're able to even make your next post. But you can share your product without marketing it in a way that isn't going to irritate the internet. Now, there are 3 ways to go about doing this, at least that I'm aware of. There are infinite. Starting with building in public. Now, this is where you share your journey as a startup founder publicly, typically using X or Twitter, still don't know which one to call it. And this is a place where really people will just post, hey, I made this new feature. Hey, I spent this long working on my product today. Hey, I got my first new user. And the thing is, people, especially if you're building a B2B product, can relate to this. And so you are going to not only make people aware of your product, but you're also going to connect with them and make them like you as a person, which can come in handy if this idea fails, because then when you're building your next idea, you already have an audience. Next is online forums. Now, don't just go to an online forum and post this long-winded marketing message about how you've created the greatest tool ever, because nobody's going to like that. And similar to Reddit, you are going to get banned. That being said, chances are your product solves a problem that people have. Well, if it doesn't, then I would just say scrap it right now and start again. And there are forum posts all over the internet of people asking for a solution which your problem solves. And so if you go there and leave a genuine reply saying, hey, I'm the founder of this, if it's a little biased, that being said, I made this tool specifically for people like you who have this problem. Not only are you likely going to get the interest of the person who made the post, but anyone who sees it in the future is also probably going to be interested. Now, don't be surprised, you are going to get a few angry people every now and again saying it's self-promotion or whatever, but I mean, welcome to the internet. People are angry. You're going to find them.
We're riding on the internet, cyberspace, set free. Hello, virtual reality.
In fact, here at MemberStack, we got a lot of our first customers through the Webflow forum, just by answering people's questions saying, hey, where is a membership tool for Webflow? How can I add signups and logins to my site? We're not just there trying to spam promote ourselves, we're actually trying to help these people. Luckily, our product is the solution. Now, another great way to promote and get those initial users without spending any money is through directories. So platforms like, for example, Product Hunt and G2, given you actually do have a product and you didn't do the fake it till you make it method, well, you can go ahead and post your product to as as many of these directories as possible. No, they're not gonna lead to you getting a whole bunch of paying customers right off the bat, but people are gonna see it, they're gonna start to build up trust, and you are likely to get at least your first couple of users through platforms like these. Now, we've covered how to not over-engineer your product, not waste time and money while building it, at least MVP, and we've covered how to find those initial first users. So you're in a point where you have your MVP, you have your first couple of users, now you want to turn this into a real business. Your idea has been validated. So the two things that you need to do right now are 1, improve your product, and 2, improve your marketing. The good news is that with those first couple of users, you should have more confidence at this point that this is going to turn into a real viable business. You are well on your way to becoming one of the 10% of startups that do not fail. That being said, this video is how to go about starting your business on the cheap. So how do you actually get that money without digging into your own pockets? Well, there's one way that I know of that works very well in order to get that money. And no, it's not angel investing, but if you do get financing, then, well, that's its own thing. And that method is lifetime deals. So if you're at a point where people have already shown that they like your product, they like your idea, they like the vision, well, you are in a perfect spot to be offering lifetime deals. Let's say you were going to be charging people $50 a month. That's your plan. My recommendation to you is run a limited time offer where people can get access to your product forever, no strings attached, for let's say $300 or $400. If you have your messaging right, these lifetime deals are an absolute killer, and quite a few people are probably going to buy them if you've sold them on your messaging. That right there is enough to give you not only your initial runway financially to turn this into a real business, but it's also going to give you your first group of really passionate customers who want to give you honest feedback and tell you what you need to do in order to bring your product live. So now, if you ran the lifetime deals, you've got some money to move forward with. You are well on your way, you've barely spent anything, and you are going to be a successful startup founder. I'll see you in the next video.